Good evening. My name is Michael. This is Nathan and Chase, and this is the Cornfed Coverage Podcast, where we talk college football and NFL football for the 2025 season. As usual, do not forget to follow, like, and subscribe for more future content. And we're just going to dive right into this, and we're going to start with our Husker Week 3 recap against HCU, and we're going to start off with Nathan. What are your takes from that game?
So I thought it was pretty dominant. We just did what we were supposed to. It felt good. We outscored the last two opponents 127-7. With Akron being the other team that we played, I think it's nice to just do what we're supposed to be doing. What about you, Chase?
Yeah, I liked what I saw. Going into it, I was just hoping that we'd come out fast, not take them too lightly, and we definitely did not. We came out fast, we came out humming. We even got to our backup quarterback started by halftime. So that was pretty cool. A lot of other backups were playing then too, even got to our third string quarterback. I think our third string quarterback's a JUCO guy that transferred in, and this is his first D1 college. So it's cool to see him getting some playing time, and we're on to Michigan. What about you, Michael?
Yes, sir. Like you guys said, Nebraska did what they were supposed to do, and it's super nice that we can finally say that, and because it's been way too long since we've been able to say that comfortably. Um, One note from the game, I thought it was really cool that TJ Latif threw Cortez Mills' first touchdown. So that was a freshman to freshman connection. And then um, Williams Waneri got a fumble recovery for a touchdown. And that was the first time he's ever reached the end zone in his college football career. So that was really cool to see. And then outside of that, we just played lights out. It stinks we couldn't go back to back shutouts, but you take what you can get and you move forward. So all in all, Nebraska did really well in that game, and now we're on to Michigan. And that's where things get tough, but we'll talk about that later. Um, what were some games that you guys saw from week 3 of college football that caught your attention? I know you guys had a couple of games you guys wanted to talk about as well.
Yeah, I can start. I'll start with the night game in South Bend, Notre Dame, Texas A&M. Crazy game. Notre Dame came in 6.5 point favorites, already 0-1. Big game for them because the rest of their schedule outside of USC is not that tough. So they already dropped probably their two hardest games on the schedule. We'll see if they can rebound and make the playoffs. But Texas A&M and their quarterback surprised me. I did not think they were going to be able to move the ball as well as they did against Notre Dame. He's a baller. He's fast. He's got the deep ball. They had this stud wide receiver that I think is now like top 5, top 10 in the Heisman race. Um, I don't know about
Mario
Texas
Cars.
A&M. Yep, that's his name. Oh, and then that fourth and goal play to the backup tight end. He holds on. Texas A&M showed a lot of fight. Game was probably going to OT if Notre Dame didn't miss that extra point right before A&M went down the field. But just kudos to A&M. They showed a lot of fight. They almost made the SEC championship game last year. It was Texas A&M. If you guys don't remember, last game of the season, winner plays Georgia. Texas won, but A&M was right there last year. They might be right there this year too.
Was that
Did you guys
a
happen to catch this game? Any thoughts on it?
Was it that Nate Borkature that caught that game-winning touchdown? And that was a former
It was
Nebraska tight
indeed.
end, right?
It was good to see him
Oh
get into
yeah,
the end zone to win the game
I
or
forgot
tie it up.
they even said that on the broadcast. They're like Nebraska transfer with the game winner.
Yep. So I watched a little bit of the game, but I agree with you 100%, Chase. Marcel Reed had a hell of a game. 360 yards, two touchdowns, a pick, but it doesn't matter when you're winning the game like that, especially within, you're leading the drive or the drive to win the game with 2:45, 2:53 left, whatever it was. So I think that it bodes well for their SEC championship potential and their future playoff potential, but we'll see kind of how they do come conference play.
I think it helps them out too. They can afford now to drop an SEC game or two since they got this Notre Dame win.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly. One game that I watched over the weekend was LSU versus Florida. And let me tell you, I was pleasantly disappointed in both teams' quarterback play. As you know, I've harped about Garrett Nussmeier pretty evidently, and while they got the win, it was sloppy. That interception, like, Garrett, what are you doing? But on the other side of the ball, DJ Lagway was seeing everyone but his own receivers. He did complete 62% of it, excuse me, sorry about that. He completed 67% of his passes. So he completed a higher percentage than Garrett Nussmeier did. But 5 interceptions, it's hard to win a football game. What do you guys think about that one?
Well, when
yeah,
you're
you can't expect to win a football game throwing
Yeah.
5 interceptions.
when you're +4 in the turnover margin, I mean, we're Nebraska fans. We've been there before. It's really hard to win football games, and what I'm surprised that because LSU should have had a lot more points than 20 points. That game should have ended probably like 42-10 or 42-10, somewhere in the high 40s.
Brian Kelly was getting pretty pressed in his post-game press conference about the offense sluggish start.
Especially when the other quarterback's giving you 5 balls like that. And honestly, maybe LSU, after they beat Clemson week 1, I was like, oh shit, here's LSU, because we thought Clemson was going to be this great team, but they've kind of fallen off a wagon now too. So I don't know if their 17-10 win against Clemson is really as impressive as it seemed at the time.
I feel like a lot of the SEC is up for grabs currently, outside of like Georgia, because Texas, we've seen
Georgia, Tennessee looked great.
Dude, that
Tennessee
game was crazy.
on that game.
That game was nuts.
Probably maybe game of the year right now, but honestly, a lot of games delivered. We had a great college football weekend. Clemson, Georgia Tech, great early window. Georgia, Tennessee in that middle window, and then Texas A&M, Notre Dame at night.
Hey, Vandy, South Carolina was another really good game too.
Lenore Sellers got
he got hurt,
and then Vandy started pulling away, but
Vandy kind of ran away with that one.
Yeah, it stinks that an injury caused Lenore's to exit that game early, because if he would have been in that game, it would have been punch for punch, blow for blow, that entirety. Because Diego was fucking dealing in the first half, and so was Lenore's. But after that injury, it's just really hard to, because it looked like South Carolina kind of lost that juice in the second half, that they would walk out there when Norris would be their quarterback. So having that backup in, I don't know, it can do things to teams where it's like, we haven't really had this guy as a starter and the camaraderie might have not been there, but oh well, you got to move forward even if your quarterback gets injured, because football is just a game and you just got to take the blows and move on forward. But can we talk about that Georgia-Tennessee game? That was absolutely mind-blowing, because they were just going back and forth in that second half. Georgia was down in the first half and clawed their way all the way back, and Gunnar Stockton started dealing in the second half out of nowhere, which was mind-blowing. And then just that field goal kicker, he's apparently going through it according to Twitter, because apparently he's not getting death threats, but there have been Tennessee fans that state, there are some very radical Tennessee fans that if they saw him on campus, he might get hurt. So that really stinks for the kid, considering he literally made the same exact field goal in overtime that he would have made it to win the game. And it was just a crazy back and forth game. And, Josh Heupel cannot win against Kirby Smart. But what are your guys' thoughts on that game?
Yeah, he's had no luck. They came out right away super fast. I think Tennessee got 3 touchdowns off their first 3 drives. It was 21-7 at the end of the first quarter. And then Tennessee kind of went on a didn't score again till like the fourth quarter, and Georgia clawed their way back,
Yeah.
taking a lead. Once Georgia took the lead, Tennessee immediately had an answer, and they took the lead. I think what happened when Tennessee was up 5, Georgia fumbled. Tennessee's at like the 30-yard line. They're already up 5. All they do is run it 3 times. They kick the field goal, go up 8. That's leaving Kirby Smart in Georgia just a chance to get back in the game. Gunnar Stockton, balls on the table, went down the field, 4th and 8, A-plus throw to the back of the end zone, tie the game. And then what Michael was saying, the Tennessee kicker, they go down, get in field goal range. Tennessee kicker misses it and goes into overtime, and we know what happened. But I'm coming away from the game that both teams are very good. Either team could have won. It wasn't Tennessee. But I do think if Georgia and Tennessee somehow meet again in the SEC title game, I think it's a 50-50 game. I like
I'd
both
love to
teams.
see that neutral site.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
fun. Tennessee's not
I
easy
agree with you. Like, I just think that, that environment, Rocky Top, it is. I've never been there personally, would love to, but it just looks insane. Like every fan there is screaming their head off. Everyone's bought into the culture and the environment, and they're participating in the chants and everything like that. So I think that played a lot to it. But yeah, like you said, a lot of back and forth. It would be very good to see them again at a neutral site. And if not the conference title game, maybe a playoff game potentially.
And I'll be interested to see like Texas's defense against these teams, because right now I'm watching Georgia and Tennessee, and I'm like, I don't know if Arch Manning would be able to play in a game against these other quarterbacks unless Texas defense is all worthy. They did leave Ohio State to what, like 14 or 21 points total?
14.
Was it?
It was
Yeah. So I
14-7,
know
right?
Texas defense got it. Yeah. But Texas was kind of in a little dogfight with UTEP for the first half. They did not look the best.
Well, and Arch Manning was having a really tough time throwing that ball deeper than 10 yards because I know
They got
last
Sam
week.
Houston this week.
Well, I know last week, when Arch Manning was throwing the ball, there were clips going around or circulating where he would like wince after throwing the ball. But Steve Sarkisian hasn't came out and said anything about Arch being injured. But just from what people have said online, it looks like something's wrong with his shoulder because it happens on almost every throw of his. So if you guys are watching that Texas Sam Houston game this weekend, see if you can see any winces, and there might be something going down in Texas because Arch Manning. I mean, how are you a Heisman front runner and you're struggling to throw the ball further than 15 yards?
I don't know if we all just fell victim to his last name, but
The talent, I feel like the talent's there, but he is having a rough go at it. Call it a sophomore slump, if you will.
Yeah.
But
it'll be interesting to see how they look here soon in SEC play.
Mm-hmm.
But so Michael, what were you thinking about the college football games this week?
Well, Florida has a tough test down in Miami, so that'll be an interesting game to watch considering how they lost to USF. And I mean they kind of bounced back. Not really, because DJ Lagway threw 5 picks and they lost to LSU, so they've had 2 straight losses, which can be really tough. But Carson Beck and Miami they were firing on all cylinders this past week. So I don't really know, but with my gut, Miami's gonna walk out of there with a win. And in theory, if Florida can't put up more than 10 points on the offensive side of the ball, they're not gonna win the game. I don't. They couldn't hold Garrett Nussmeyer, excuse me, at all, considering they lost the game. And then, I mean, Carson Beck's right up there with Garrett Nussmeier as well in the realm of being a good SEC quarterback. And Carson Beck has been wheeling and dealing in Miami's offense. So I see Miami walking away with the win down in down in Miami. Um, and then outside of that, um, I saw Auburn, Oklahoma play each other. So that'll be a super interesting game to watch. We'll see if Mateer can, direct Oklahoma's offense in the right direction. Um, Considering they've already beaten a ranked Michigan team. And that was in Oklahoma's name is Gaylord, right?
Norman.
Right, but their stadium is named Gaylord, right?
I thought it was Memorial.
Is
They do
is
call
it
it Memorial
Memorial?
too, but I know you're right. You're on the right track, Michael. I'm just not
It
100%.
sounds right. I'm not sure, but
It's like Gaylord Memorial Stadium or something.
yeah. But that'll be another fun game to tune into. But outside of that, you guys already know what game I want to talk about. But before we get to that, what were some of the games you guys wanted to discuss for college football week 4?
Yeah, I guess outside of Nebraska, Michigan, I think the game I'm most excited for is Texas Tech, Utah. There's just kind of a lot of unknown in that game. I think that these are the best two teams in the Big 12 right now. Texas Tech spent their offseason just buying their roster. I think they spent the most in the transfer portal. They have all new guys except for their quarterback, I believe, was there last year and is coming back this year. So there's some continuity there. But Texas Tech, I don't know if you guys have paid attention. I haven't turned on any of their games, but when I look at
They
the
got a lot
ESPN
of
app,
oil money.
they're just killing everyone right now. No one has like stayed within 50 points of them. I don't know. They've played a lot of no ones. And I'm over exaggerating there, Michael. If you're like,
No, I'm just intrigued. I haven't seen a Texas Tech game this year. I was just gonna
I
look.
think they haven't really played anyone, but they've killed everyone. Utah
Yep.
also hasn't really played anyone. They played UCLA week 1, killed them. But New Mexico is also killing UCLA right now. So who really knows there? Um, Kind of my read going into the Big 12 and why I chose Utah was that I love their coach. I love their transfer quarterback, and Utah's a hard place to play. So I'm going to go with Utah this weekend to get it done against this unknown Texas Tech team. Um,
I like that.
the big noon
Utah's
kickoff, it's actually kicking off 10 a.m. Utah time, but I think the boys will be ready.
Utah's QB also hasn't thrown a pick at all this year.
Love it.
Oh yeah,
Texas Tech's quarterback is 11 touchdowns and one. He's thrown for 11 touchdowns already this season.
it helps when you don't play Power 4 conference teams.
Valid. I mean,
Yeah.
they scored 67 points against Arkansas Pine Bluff, 62 against Kent State, and 45 against Oregon State. So yeah, they practically played nobody.
Oregon State, I'll give you is decent, but dang, that's a lot of points.
Did Utah also play Oregon State? No, they didn't. They played Wyoming.
Yeah, I know they played UCLA, and then I think they just played 2 nobodies that I
Yeah.
can't think of.
Yep.
One game that I'm looking at for this week is Baylor versus Arizona State. The duel between Sawyer Robertson and Sam Levitt. Dave Aranda versus Kenny Dillingham. A lot of hype around this game, but I think that the Bears take it. I am liking them, just because I really think that they're gonna make a lot of noise this season. Sawyer Robertson, he can air it out when he needs to. That's how they upset SMU, who's got an explosive offense. But yeah, give me the Bears in that one. But with that, let's go ahead and Michael, what are your thoughts on the Huskers versus Michigan this week?
Before
The
that,
bus support.
Nathan, if you were to know that Baylor is minus 2.5 point favorites, would you hammer that bet line?
I would, yes. Yes, I would. I think it's going to be a
Wake up.
3-point win at least by Baylor.
Interesting. I mean, Robertson is wheeling and dealing this year compared to Levitt. I mean, He's almost doubled Sam Levitt's pass yards this year,
And
which
SMU's been the toughest school that they've played so far. But they also don't look like what they did last year.
right.
But we'll see kind of what happens.
Yeah. But
They lost that game to NC State.
but so Chase's hat, it's bustle with the boys, but it's the bus and bull this week. Uh I I was talking to Chase pre-recording, and I have a very weird feeling it's going to be a close game. Somewhere in the realm of like a
That's not a
27.
weird feeling, Michael. That is not a weird feeling at all. It is our first conference matchup. It is going to be a dogfight on
I feel like
Saturday.
it's kind of gonna look like Cincinnati versus Nebraska to begin the season. Kind of that like nitty and gritty. We have to battle for those 4-yard rushes. Hopefully Raiola can find the deep ball against Michigan's defense, but the real test is going to be our defense against Michigan's wide receivers, because Michigan has 3 receivers currently totaling over 100 yards already for the season. And so our defense is going to be put to the test, considering we have the number one pass defense through week 3 of college football. So Sierra Wright, Malcolm Hartzog, who gets to play this weekend, Deshaun Singleton, Andrew Marshall, they're all gonna get tested out on the edge, and they're really gonna have to uh, dot their I's, cross their T's, because you do not want to get burnt. Um, I could almost see Bryce Underwood taking a shot at Andrew Marshall, um, going deep, because that was Cincinnati's first play from scrimmage. They took a shot deep against Andrew Marshall. Obviously, it was incomplete, but I could see that kind of same scenario. I also saw that Michigan's interim head coach this week had stated that he has given Bryce Underwood permission to run the ball where he seems fit. So, opening up
He's got
that
great legs.
opening up that
Very
QB run
athletic.
ability for Bryce Underwood, Nebraska needs to stop that, like, more than we did against Sorsby, because Sorsby had almost 100 yards rushing on our defense when we opened the season. He didn't get to 100, but it felt like he was almost there. Um, so our D line is really going to have to step up their run defense, because I mean, you guys watched the Cincinnati game. Chase, you were there. It looked like Cincy was able to get the run going against our defense more often than not, kind of whenever they wanted to. And then obviously Nebraska took on Akron and HCU without any issues, but Michigan and those two teams do not compare. Michigan's O line is a true Big Ten offensive line. Um, and so our D line's going to get put to the test. They're going to have to get their head in the trenches and be able to get some tackles for loss, because if we allow Michigan to get those 4-yard runs, 5-yard runs, we might be in trouble. So I've our key to winning that game is going to be our defense and how they play against Bryce Underwood. We need to be able to contain their run game through the A and the B gap and not let them get outside of the tackles, because that's what Michigan is going to try to do. That's what they did against CMU last week, and they won like 35-3. So hopefully, our run defense is stout, and John Butler has those fellows prepped and ready to go, because I don't really know what Michigan's defense looks like. They held Mateer to like under 30, or was that Michigan Oklahoma game like
It was
27-20?
like 24. It was like 24
24-13.
14. Yeah, something like that.
So
But, to add on to that, Michael, I think that one big way that we can kind of attempt to neutralize Underwood's athletic ability by rushing it is by putting a QB spy on him. I think Deshaun McCullough would be a great candidate for that. He's extremely athletic. He's versatile. You could put him anywhere on that defense, and he's going to find a way to make a play.
I'd almost rather have him on the edge, because apparently when I was watching people's reviews of the game, um, there's like a number 0 or a number 10 on that offensive line that is kind of sluggish against like slimmer and faster right edges. And so if we can get that matchup on the line, maybe he can wreak havoc like he's been doing the past couple of weeks. But that QB spy, I feel like could be Javin Wright's forte, because he finally gets to be back this week as well. And he's a speedster. He's a really fast middle linebacker. And he did the NFL Combine last year. Obviously didn't enter the draft, but he had like a 4.7, 4.8 40. Which anything under 5 seconds is fast for a middle linebacker. Um, but that we will just need to be able to stop that run. We can't let Bryce get outside and break off for a 15, 20-yard run. But a QB spy, John Butler would just need to be able to identify what main defender he wants on there, whether that be like a right edge come one formation, or whether that be a middle linebacker like showing a blitz but then backing off. Um, But another huge thing is I'm interested to see how Raiola does against a Big Ten defense, because it's going to be his toughest test against corners that match up to our wide receiver speed. So hopefully our receivers can get some separation. So Dane Key, Isaiah Hunter, Ja'Cory Barney, all three of those guys are going to be able to need to find separation from those corners, from those safeties, because I don't think we're going to be able to get away with what we were doing against Cincy, taking those 5-yard throws like more often than not. So like I said, that
Well,
deep ball,
he was hitting his checks
right? He
down.
he was taking what Cincy was giving
He
him
was
for
making the
sure.
right decision.
It'll
So
be
I would
interesting to
much
see what
rather have
Michigan comes on.
Dylan do that. Yeah,
But
I
what
would
are
much
your
rather have
thoughts on that game,
Dylan rather
Nathan?
do that. Well, kind of a lot of what you said. I think it's going to be a very defensive game. I really hope Butler's kind of kept a lot hidden in the bag as far as just just everything. As far as coverage disguises go, stunts, blitzes, all of it. I don't think that we've seen everything that he has. So I think that he's got a little bit of something cooking. Um, and if we get the GOAT, Bud Crawford, to walk the team out after that huge win over the weekend, oh man, I don't know how we don't win that football game.
Is it rumored that he might?
All right, Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola and Troy Dannon all flew out to the fight.
Wait, Raiola was
Oh,
down there?
I
I
did
didn't
not know
know
that.
that. I knew Rule and Dannon were
Mm-hmm.
down there. I didn't know Raiola flew down there too.
As per sources, but take it with a grain of salt. I didn't see him there, and I wasn't there, so. But as per sources, we could see something potentially. It would be great to see. I'd love to see it.
Do you
But
think
if you're watching, come to Lincoln.
do you think if do you think that atmosphere is going to match or be higher than what it was for the Colorado game last year? I've seen a lot of like
I don't
Husker
think so.
Twitter trying to get the hype back up there.
I don't think so because this state hates Colorado football. I don't think Michigan we see as a competitor. We don't like them, but we're not gonna. Nope, we're Nebraska fans. We're always gonna be nice, but no one's
It
gonna
was
be.
the whole thing with like Dion and Shadur too. It was just like,
Yeah,
I think this game's going to
yeah,
be pretty high. It's probably the most hyped home game on our schedule, especially
yep,
being undefeated still.
100%. Mm-hmm. USC might come close, but I think if we can, I think the atmosphere is going to be there for the taking. So if we can just do our jobs, win the plays that we need to win, I think that we walk away with a win. Chase, what do you think about the game?
Yeah, I think if the tides are going to turn for Husker football, this is the game to do it. We got Matt Rule year 3. Dylan Royola's been here for a full year now. And I think the key to the game is Royola. I think he's really good. And he could have gone to Georgia. He could have gone to Ohio State, and he could have been the next guy up, the next good quarterback for them. But he decided to come to Nebraska, a program that his family holds close to his heart. And if we can turn the tides, he's going to be one of the biggest reasons why. Like, if we go back, this is when Nebraska turned it around again. It's Matt Rule, Dylan Royola. They came in here. They did it. I think he can play well. Maybe it's going to be some dinking and dunking. I'm not really sure if Michigan's going to try to do our, 2 high safeties and make us 5 yards at a time go down the field. And what Mike was saying too, I think when Cincy started getting momentum was when Sorsby was running the second half. Before he threw that interception, he was just doing big plays running himself going down the field. So I do think we're going to need to figure that out. Bryce Underwood might try to do that. One thing in our advantage, the Michigan coach isn't allowed to even be at practice this week. Even when Jim Harbaugh had the suspensions for the same thing, he was allowed to be at practice. And Moore is nowhere. I don't even know what he's doing this week. Like, what do you do as a coach if you're not even allowed to be at practice?
Sit on your couch and drink coffee.
Yep. When I think of this game, I think it's going to be lower scoring. I'm going to go Nebraska 23-20, win in overtime.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I was thinking it was going to be like 27-24, right in that same realm, because I don't think it's going to be a very high-scoring game.
And I've got 24-17 because I agree. I think defense is going to be a big part. But I do think Dylan is going to get his 2 passing touchdowns.
Nice.
I think more than other years, we have multiple ways to beat you. Like, we got Emmett Johnson, and we got Hunter and Key with Royola. Like, we don't just rely on the run game this year.
And Barney.
Yeah, Lindenmeyer as well.
Ja'Cory Barney just got his first Nebraska touchdown last week in the year and a half he's been playing.
Oh, wow. He didn't have one last year?
No, he did not have it was his first touchdown last week.
Well, he was behind Nair and Banks.
Yeah,
he wasn't starting really, and unless there were 3 wide or 3 receiver sets. But yeah, I think that all of our thoughts kind of align that it's going to be a game either won or lost through the trenches, and that defense will play a factor. But we all have faith in our quarterback and our head coach to get us a win. So I love that. I love that we're all on the same page. But we're drinking the Kool-Aid quite a bit, I'd say.
We're a little biased, to say the least.
I mean, and it is Michigan minus 2.5 right now, which is saying that it is anyone's game, but slight advantage to Michigan. But
Nebraska,
I don't know if Michigan, they might be a year away, I think, kind of like us last year.
So. Yeah. Well, another weird stat, Nebraska hasn't won a ranked game in 7 years at least, which is absolutely mind-blowing considering all the ranked teams that have came into Lincoln. We just haven't. Something happens when a ranked teams come to Lincoln, Nebraska, and it's befounding to me. I don't know what happens because that Illinois game last year.
Illinois in overtime, yeah.
Yeah, that one hurt.
But we were ranked.
Yeah, but that game.
Was that our first Big Ten game last year? I think it was.
Yeah. It was our conference opener.
I think we beat like a ranked Colorado, and then we were ranked and played Illinois.
And then we lost. But that is bad juju. That does not happen this weekend.
Illinois has been moving in the right direction too, like us. I mean, they're in top 10 right now, so
yeah.
I like them this week against Indiana.
You do?
They're not favorites. They're not favorites.
I like Illinois as well.
Park for Illinois.
I'm so surprised with that spread of 6. Like, it's in Indiana. If you would have told me it's Indiana by 3, I would have been like, oh, yep, that sounds.
I don't know why it's -6 though.
I think people
think money has to be coming in. Yeah, Mendoza looks good, but I think Altmaier's better.
I thought Altmaier was better than Mendoza as well.
But with
I mean, in
that,
college, I'm always a big
so
believer in continuity, like quarterback, head coach staying together
Oh
for a
my,
couple years.
you guys want to
yeah,
hear? You guys want to
and I
hear
feel like
this
they
for
just
the?
have that chemistry, so they want to stick with what works.
You guys want to hear
Hmm.
this crazy Indiana Illinois matchup stat? Altmaier has thrown 56 of 78 for 8 touchdowns, 709 yards, right? Mendoza,
It's very similar to
708
Mendoza.
yards, 55 of 76 for 9 touchdowns. That's going to be a freaking battle between these two teams. That's literally like the closest I've seen two quarterbacks to almost the same exact stat line
Yeah,
through 3 games.
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Two teams not
Uh,
used to having expectations.
no, and they are up and coming programs. I feel like the last year or two they've been gaining momentum. But with that, so we made some picks last week for the NFL. Okay, somebody came out of this 2-0. How did you guys fare?
I went 1-1. I technically went 2-0 with choosing the winners, but 1-1 against the spread because Cowboys did not win by 4.5 in
Yeah,
that crazy shootout overtime game where Russell Wilson had a career high somehow in passing yards. He just kept tossing it up to Malik Neighbors, hoping for the best, and it worked a lot of
Neighbors
the
is down there somewhere.
But other than that, good read on the Colts game. Indiana Jones or whatever they're calling Daniel
Hell of a
Jones now.
read there.
Jonathan Taylor is looking great. He has like
He's
over
looking
300 yards through 2 games. And but yeah, how'd you end up,
like
Michael?
a top five back again.
Yeah, he
I,
is.
I ended up going 1-0 because I stuck with just my Patriots. Um,
Okay.
just because they're really the only team I've been paying too much attention to because all my fantasy teams are in the dumpster besides one. Um, so luckily the Patriots were able to walk away out of Miami with a win. First time we beat Tua, thankfully. Um, which is mind blowing. Tua was 7-0 before last Sunday against the Patriots. Um, him being in Miami of all places, I would have never. If you had asked me that like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, if we were to have that happen, I would have said no. I would have said if anything, the Patriots split their series going on. Obviously, I would have been wrong. But it's a huge win. It was Mike Vrabel's first win as a New England Patriots head coach. Ramondre Stevenson looked great. He seems to be back to where he was last year, thankfully. Um, Drake May threw for 3 touchdowns, which was awesome to watch. The craziest of sequences unfolded as Miami returned a punt for a touchdown, and then when Miami kicked it off to New England, Antonio Gibson took it back for a touchdown. There is
Yeah, you
a
see
pick.
Vrabel running with him.
Yeah, I was just about to say they made that their Twitter header for the day after that happened.
Oh, that's cool.
So I thought that was really cool. And it's cool that Antonio Gibson of all running backs were able to go out and do that considering he's bounced around to a lot of different teams and to be able to go and score like that is a really cool feat. Plus he's a little bit older too, so he's probably I want to say he's like his mid 30s. So being able to be like 33, 34 and return a kick off like that is crazy. The one thing I was worried about, the Patriots missed their first 2 PATs of the game. Like we scored a touchdown, missed the PAT. Scored a touchdown, missed a PAT. So we had 12 points at one point in time. But then um he wound Vrabel wound up sending him out there for a field goal, and he made that. So at least he can make a field goal, but I really hope he can work on his PAT work this week. Um, but I'm just really happy with the win. The Patriots are 1-0. The Chiefs are 0-2. They haven't won a game yet, so that's really nice to say in here. Um, but what about you, Chase? What games or No, it goes to you, Nathan. What games did you want to talk about? We can't hear you.
Still can't hear you.
Nope, still
But
can't hear you.
adding on to that 0-2 for the Chiefs, the Chargers are 2-0 with a win over the Chiefs. So technically, that's a 3-game lead in the AFC West right now.
Yeah,
We still have to play the Chiefs one more time in Kansas City, but can't ask for a better start for a Charger fan than what I've seen so far. I mean, Slater getting injured kind of sucks as preseason, but we've came out looking good.
how's
Herbert looks confident.
how's Khalil Mack? I saw you sent something about that earlier. Is he okay?
Yeah, he dislocated his elbow, and they say he's just going to be out a couple weeks. But at the time of the game, and then they put him in the sling, and you saw him on the sideline after halftime and stuff. I was like, oh, this could be
Not
season ending. Like
good.
he might have broke his elbow. Luckily, it was just a dislocation. He's going to be out 2-3 weeks, but he'll be back for majority of the season, and of course, the playoffs is what we really want him for.
Yeah, no, that's really good news for you guys because you don't want any more injuries to that defense of your guys' considering Slater's already out for the season. But the Chargers are 2-0. That's huge. I mean, Quentin Johnston's looking good. Keenan Allen had a game. That was cool to watch.
I feel like people were like, with Keenan Allen, they're like, what is he going to do with the Chargers? He's washed. I'm like, the dude is a route running artist. Like, he was never a speed killer. He just runs the best routes ever.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't go away as fast as speed goes away when you get older.
Right. Right.
He's a merchant.
He is.
He is a dog.
And
I like
is he getting
watching
better
Keenan
than
Allen
Jordan
play.
Addison now that we're getting dude on for taking.
Hey.
He has 3 touchdowns for a few games.
Mm-hmm.
He does
doing
look
pretty
great,
good.
but it has only been 2 weeks, to be fair. Sorry about that, but kind of what I was saying about my picks. I picked the Niners and the Eagles to win last week. And the Niners did.
And there goes my audio again.
No, we can hear you. You're good.
Oh, good deal. Sorry about that. Eagles beat the Chiefs, and it just feels great to see them lose. That's that. But what did you guys think about? Hey, I'm telling you. Well, you can listen to the picks this week.
That's true.
I'm just gonna stick with the Patriots. I believe we're gonna beat the Steelers this week. I feel like it's gonna be a nitty gritty bat. And I'm echoing. I don't know from whose. But I think the Patriots walk out of that game with a win. I do think it's going to be close considering it is Pittsburgh and they're always known for a stellar defense. And they got, TJ Watt, who was the runner up defensive player of the year last year. So it's going to be interesting. Hopefully I can watch it on TV. But, it's a New England Patriots game, so that probably won't happen. But I will still be tuning in, following along with the play-by-play, and keeping along with the stats too. So, Patriots just need to go 1-0 again this week and move on to being 2-1 for the season. What about you, Nathan? What are some of your picks for this week?
I can't hear you.
Oh. Chase, what about you? What are your picks for this week?
My favorite pick as of right now is the Texans over the Jaguars. Texans are 0-2 right now. They've won the AFC South the last 2 years. They've played 2 really good teams in the Rams and Buccaneers, who I think will make the playoffs. So starting 0-2 is a little misleading, and they especially should have beat the Buccaneers, but Baker Mayfield is a dog and led a last-minute drive to take the lead in that game. But I think the Texans defense will confuse Trevor Lawrence, who's a little overrated. Brian Thomas Jr. hasn't looked the best. Travis Hunter's still trying to get his get used to being in the NFL, so I'll take the Texans in that defense. And then kind of a homer pick, like Michael's Patriots pick. I'm going to take the Chargers minus 2.5 over the Broncos this weekend. We're at home. We got the better quarterback. Herbert just looks great. Madison Beers unlocked him, or maybe it was Jim Harbaugh hyping him up the last year and a half. One of the two. But he's there. He's clutch now, so I'll take the Chargers.
Here we go. Still can't hear you, Nathan. But no, with Madison Beer and Herbert dating, did you see the little gimmick of him walking into the game this past week and he was flipping off the media?
Mm-hmm.
All the comments on there were stating like, the media changed him, or Madison Beer changed him, or stuff like that. I'm like, guys, Herbert doesn't want the media to be all up in his face pregame. Just leave the man alone.
It's always like a joke on Chargers. They like try to film him coming in and he hides from their social media team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like just not his personality to be all over camera.
What really sucks though is Joe Burrow's injury for this year.
Yeah.
I have Joe Burrow in 2 out of like the 4 or 5 leagues I'm in. So that really sucks. And then in one of my leagues that I have Joe Burrow, I also have JJ McCarthy. He's injured now too. So Matthew Stafford is my quarterback I picked up off of the waiver wire, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to win a game, but we're here for it.
He'll be fine without JJ McCarthy. He's played 7 bad quarters of football in 1 good quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I didn't have a backup, so I don't know. The reason why I took JJ though was like just because he was a backup for Joe Burrow he was a backup for Joe Burrow on my fantasy team. And then I had to double think that too. But he's a backup QB on my fantasy team. And I just had him in there for Joe Burrow's bye week. So from there, I wound up just SOL, unfortunately. So
Nathan, your audio good?
Nathan. You're deafened. Nope, you're still not working.
We may have to put in the comments for all you guys if we can't get Nathan's audio working. We may have to put in the comments Nathan's NFL picks. If we don't get this.
Is that better?
That is better. There we go.
I was like, we may have to put your picks in the because I don't. You're 4-0 right now. We got to keep giving you NFL picks.
4-1. 4-1. I did pick the Falcons wrong week 1. Honest man. But I'm gonna go with the Bills to cover on Thursday Night Football over the Dolphins. I like 11.5. I think Josh Allen is capable. They obviously showed it last weekend. But then my other pick is gonna be, I'm sure you can guess, it's gonna be the Niners to take down the Cardinals. There's a chance Purdy might play, but I'm really not risking it on that or banking it on that. I've seen what Mac Jones can do at the helm. I think that he's completely serviceable.
Hell yeah, Nathan!
Saints. It's great to see.
Trust in Mac Jones, buddy.
Mac Jones starting over a lot of other teams' backup quarterbacks. So I think that we're not in a great spot, but I think that we're in a better spot than we could be with somebody like Josh Johnson starting.
Valid.
So I think the Chargers backup quarterback over Mac Jones.
Trey Lance would be really nice to have, and I would, it would be good to see Trey Lance at the helm of the Niners, but at this point, with the aspirations the team currently has, I think that I would take Mac Jones because he's going to be able to deliver the team the wins.
Wow. I don't know if I'd ever thought Nathan would say he'd take Mac Jones over Trey Lance. If you would ask me that,
had the opportunity.
I mean,
no, the better backup for Purdy. You don't have to change the offense as much. Mac Jones and Purdy would do the same role. Purdy better, but
Yep. And Kyle always does like to get his quarterbacks running if they have that ability. So I would prefer a quarterback who's not as mobile because then he's not going to try to
Mac can
run
still
down the
run.
field.
He did it in the Pro Bowl 2 years ago.
That's a Pro Bowl, Michael. That's not the regular season.
It still counts. He showed his legs.
He's not Joe Flacco, but he's nowhere near what you think of as a mobile quarterback.
No, I just like watching.
Purdy could be a little mobile, but I would say Purdy's significantly more mobile than Mac.
I like watching Mac succeed with at least like getting that win for the Niners. It was kind of cool to see, considering he just didn't work out with the Patriots and everything. And I
Trey Lance.
Well,
I want him to succeed.
I trusted in Mac Jones for 3 years while he was a QB for the Patriots, and I stuck behind him when all the naysayers were just being doubters and everything. So it's cool to watch you cheer for Mac Jones because that's what I did for 3 years straight. So
don't think of it as cheering for Mac Jones, but more so cheering for the 49ers.
I know, but
I want them to succeed.
But for the Niners to succeed, Mac Jones needs to succeed.
Needs to play well.
Yeah. But no, it was cool watching the Niners and Shanahan and Mac Jones get that win because did the broadcast ever say, was that his first start since the Patriots, or did he start a game for Jacksonville?
He started last year at the end of Jacksonville.
He did?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the only reason I know that is because I was listening to some fantasy stuff.
Trevor Lawrence was hurt.
Thomas Jr. got all his yards from Mac Jones, and that Trevor Lawrence doesn't throw to him.
Yeah, because Trevor Lawrence was hurt, and now he's throwing him hospital balls.
Gotcha. But
yeah, so those are my 2 picks this week. Bills and Niners. Take them before the game kicks off tomorrow night.
Yes,
right, Nathan with Bills Niners. I took Chargers Texans and Michael with the Patriots.
Per usual. If the Patriots win this week, I'll move my pick'ems to 2 games instead of 1.
You'll feel more confident to give an additional pick.
Yes. I'm just trying to go 1-0. Just trying to go 1-0. Because right now I believe I am 1-2. Because from our week 1 pod, I don't think any of my pick'ems hit, so that really stunk. Because I was with the Falcons I was with the Falcons.
Yeah, you and me were Buccaneers.
Yeah, you were on the opposite side of it.
That's right. It's been a little bit, but yeah. But besides that, did you guys have anything else you would like to say to our viewers/listeners before we sign off?
Nebraska volleyball is now 9-0 after defeating ranked Creighton last night. With the new head coach DBK, I think it's, the team could be searching for another national title this season. I really like Harper Murray. She's a killer. So is Andy Jackson. We just have a squad full of hitters.
Rebecca Alec is a beast.
My mom got a picture with her at a Husker tailgate.
Oh, really? That's super cool.
Yeah, Husker volleyball being good.
It's great to watch them succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if Nebraska wins another natty, that would be really cool for volleyball. And in DBK's first season as a Husker coach would be crazy.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for a successful season.
Yeah, Final Four appearance at least.
Mm-hmm.
And if we get any further than that, props to everybody. That would be cool, considering we went from John Cook to DBK and we didn't miss a step. But what about you, Chase? Anything else you'd like to add?
I'm fired up for this game. I just can't wait because if we win this game, it's just going to be so big. So it's a little nerve-wracking too because it's going to hurt if we lose, but I'm just excited for the game, and let's go Big Red, boys.
Well, and we'll if Nebraska can beat Michigan this weekend, Nebraska will be 4-0 into the bye week. And then after the bye week, we go on the road. I'm pretty sure.
We got Michigan State at home.
That's right.
We got Michigan State at home.
And then we do our Maryland to Minnesota
Yep.
first 2 Big Ten away games.
I'm a week ahead.
technically away.
I'm a week ahead. But also one other thing I would like to add. Your co-host and myself will be at the Bussin' with the Boys live show Friday night. There'll be we'll get to see Taylor Wan, Josh Pate, and Will Compton just talk ball probably for a couple of hours. And then they also have a tailgate Saturday from 11:30 to like 2:30 or 3. Um, and we'll also be attending that. So if you guys see us out there, say what's up, say you liked our pod, or if you got any comments, feel free to drop those as well. And as usual, do not forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more future content. My name is Michael. That is Nathan, and that is Chase, and we are the Cornfed Coverage Podcast. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, and go Big Red.
Yep. Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.